Ladies and gentlemen, if I may have your attention for a few moments. The commencement ceremony is about to begin, and I have a few brief announcements. First, and probably most importantly, please turn off your cell phones. And for those of you who are not familiar with academic regalia and traditions, I call your attention to page 17 in the back of your program. Please clear the aisles, and as the program indicates, please remain seated for the processional so that everyone can see their graduate. Lastly, to ensure your safety and of all in attendance, please keep all aisles clear during the ceremony. Now I'm going to lead in the graduates.
2018 commencement of Bentley University's McCallum Graduate School of Business is called to order. I call Professor Joseph J. Newpole, ceremonial marshal, to guide these commencement exercises.
It is our practice to invite a member of the spiritual life team to offer an invocation at this time. Representing the team today is Angela Howard McFarland, the Catholic chaplain at Bentley. Please rise for the invocation and then remain standing while the Boston Brass Ensemble plays America the Beautiful. Lyrics may be found on page 16 of your program.
We come together this morning from a beautiful diversity of religious and spiritual and family traditions. In my own Christian tradition, this weekend we celebrate the Feast of Pentecost, the descent of the Holy Spirit, which inflamed the hearts of the faithful to go forth and to serve one another, as well as those on the margins. It is a moment of sending forth, of commissioning, much as you are all sent forth from Bentley today to your work in the world. And so I invite you to pause, to inhale and exhale deeply, and to be mindful of all that you know to be holy and sacred. In that same spirit, at the end of these remarks, there will be a pause to allow each of you to conclude according to your own tradition or how your heart moves you. And so let us pray. We give thanks for each and every graduating student today, mindful of the hard work and long nights that led to today's culmination, and of the individual trials and hurdles each of you has overcome to complete your studies. The world needs you more than ever, and we know that you are up to the task. We ask your blessing, gracious and loving one, on all of these scholars. May they seek the work that makes them come most fully alive, offering grace and peace to all they encounter. May your blessing extend beyond them as individuals, such that they can affect positive change in the world, particularly for those most marginalized. May the power of love and compassion trump the power of the bottom line. Give them sharp minds, compassionate hearts, and gentle souls in order to share their gifts and talents where they are most needed in the world. Now, resting in the light of the divine, we each give thanks in our own way. Amen.
Please be seated. I invite Professor Barbara Paul-Emile to the podium to read her original poetic composition honoring the service of President Gloria Larson to Bentley University. Professor Paul-Emile is a poet, novelist, and scholar, and professor of English in our English and Media Studies department. Holder of Bentley's distinguished Maurice Goldman Chair of Arts and Sciences for the years 2000 through 2015. She is a specialist in Caribbean and English Romantic literature. Professor Paul-Emile was named Massachusetts Carnegie Professor of the Year, 1994-1995, by the Carnegie Foundation and the Council for the Advancement and Support of Education.
President Gloria Cordes Larson, as you depart, know that you are respected, loved, and honored. Your leadership of Bentley University, treasured and valued beyond all knowing for all times to come. With fierce courage, you have guided and you have led, broken new paths and shown the way. You have never faltered in your faith and in your determination, never compromised your values and your affiliations. Under your stewardship, the lines have grown straight, the circles whole, and the center strong. Your presence, programs, initiatives empowered many. Your joy and dynamism vitalizing and nourishing, laid out ambitious frameworks, shaped new paradigms, lifting our institution to greater heights. Thank you for your presence and for your power. Thank you for your fearlessness and your compassion. Thank you for your deep inner fire that glorifies the world, magnifying the highest and the best. May the flame that you have lit for us and within us always burn bright, ever enlarging our sight. May you be kept ever in the light, ever in the heart of the oneness. Thank you, President Larson.
Thank you, Professor Paul-Emile, for that fitting tribute. I now call the 7th President of Bentley University, Gloria Cordes Larson, to present the charge to the class of 2018.
Thank you, Professor Barbara Paul-Emile, for those incredibly thoughtful words. I will treasure your friendship forever. Ms. Diane Hessen, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty and staff, distinguished guests, families, and friends, welcome to the 43rd Annual Commencement of the Bentley University McCallum Graduate School of Business. And to the class of 2018, welcome to our graduation. Every year, I look forward to commencement with mixed emotions. I've gotten to know so many of you over my time at Bentley, through meetings in my office, visits to classes, events at my home, campus celebrations, and chance meetings in parking lots and on walkways. Every interaction has given me the opportunity to learn more about you, your studies, and your hopes for what comes next. And now Bentley University and I bid you farewell as you head off to the next great chapter of your life. but this year feels a bit different than most. And that's because I'm graduating with you. Just took me 11 years to do it. Congratulations, class. I know we've all taken part in commencement before. Some of you walked across this very stage just last year to receive your undergraduate diploma. But today, Bentley University confers upon you an important new professional credential that honors your hard work, your dedication, and your many achievements. And now, thankfully, you can reclaim all those hours you devoted to classes, study groups, papers, presentations, and endless reading. Your days of balancing some combination of work, personal life, and studies have finally, blessedly, come to an end. Congratulations to you all. Today, about 133 of you earn an MBA, some in overdrive through the globally diverse 11-month Bentley MBA program. Another impressive group pursued their MBA over a 2-year period. And those in our part-time program expanded their skills while enriching evening classes with insights from wide-ranging day jobs. Another 469 will receive a Master of Science degree today. You've increased your professional expertise with a deep dive into a specialty: accounting, finance, financial planning, human factors, and information design. Information technology, marketing analytics, business analytics, and taxation. Today, we will also award a number of combined degrees and graduate certificates. And we are graduating 4 doctoral candidates this afternoon. Their impressive dissertations offer new research, insights, and reviews of business behavior. I have no doubt that you will all have a significant impact on the organizational world. All of our graduate students were challenged to expand their worldview. For some, studies have taken you into businesses and other organizations across the U.S. and beyond to better understand firsthand the complexities of an ever-evolving global economy. Others of you worked with companies in the classroom, analyzing corporate challenges and opportunities. These experiences have prepared you well for your post-Bentley lives, helping you develop and enhance the competencies and qualities most in demand in today's marketplace. Happily, the world recognizes the value of your performance and potential. Class of 2018 graduates have run an intensive interview gauntlet and plan to join numerous companies in diverse sectors: Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Partners Healthcare, CVS Health and Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Deloitte, EY, KPMG, PwC, and Grant Thornton, Dell, EMC, Rapid7, and Wayfair, Santander Bank, Eaton Vance, and State Street. The impressive list goes on and on. Congratulations. You leave here with the knowledge and skills to lead in organizations of every kind. But as you begin your next chapter, know that your Bentley degree brings both opportunity and enhanced responsibility. As current and future leaders, it's our hope that you will use your advanced degree in new positions to bring lasting positive change to organizations small and large, local and global, public and private. And today, more than ever before, positive change refers to more than profits and losses. It includes a determined focus on ethical, inclusive, and socially responsible next-generation leadership with an equal regard for people and our planet, as well as for company bottom lines. It's a tall order, but I believe, I know, you are more than up to the challenge. Diane Hessen, today's honorary degree recipient, has built a career and life embodying these triple bottom line business values. As an entrepreneur, she's set the right tone at the top, making the organizational commitment to people, planet, and profit company-wide policy, not aspiration. And the results speak for themselves. One of the hottest companies in Boston's innovation economy, C-Space disrupted the market research industry by creating online consumer communities to better understand their clients' needs. Today, major brands like McDonald's, Walmart, and Bank of America work with C-Space because they trust the information and the data they receive. But I believe it's also because they trust the C-Space people they work with. Diane has fostered a community of engaged and productive employees. They believe in the company's mission, and they've lined up to do their best on its behalf. C-Space is not the only company out there that believes social good is now a business prerogative. Earlier this year, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink made headlines across the country when he announced that his $6 trillion asset management company would help lead the way in promoting broader social goals as well as traditional financial ones. Championing the increasingly mainstream view, Fink challenged other CEOs across the country to join the cause, arguing that it's no longer right for corporations to prioritize short-term profits over long-term enterprise stability. Both must be maximized. While it might have been an easy public relations gamut in the midst of the crisis to make promises of a cultural shift for a better society, BlackRock is not a troubled company. And the 2008 financial crash is 10 years in the rearview mirror. No, Fink is arguing for change in 2018 because it is more widely understood than ever that companies must embrace both good business and the ethical, socially responsible thing to do. And there's another CEO who gives me high hopes for the future of corporate thinking. Tim Ryan, the U.S. chairman of PwC, visited the Bentley campus in April. Of course, he wanted to meet with our amazing accounting faculty to exchange insights into how artificial intelligence, automation, and the digital world will soon impact audit and client practices. And he wanted to meet with Bentley's career services team and the talented students PwC has made job offers to. But a primary focus, the theme he revisited consistently throughout the day, was to explore how best to work with top business schools like Bentley to develop a stronger talent pipeline for women and people of color. Last summer, under Tim's leadership, PwC launched CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion, a public pledge to advance diversity in all its forms in the workplace. While we've all seen more than a few pledges like this over the years, these issues have taken on center stage for everyone in recent years. And this corporate movement has already proved different, with some 400 CEOs and college presidents, including Bentley's, agreeing to measurably advance diversity and inclusion. The CEO Action Initiative isn't a moneymaker for PwC. Coordinating the work of hundreds of CEOs and pushing for systemic change is not core to the firm's traditional business strategy, but it is core to PwC's CEO. It's a movement started because Tim looked around the partners in his global firm and saw too many folks who looked exactly like him. And he knew that needed to change if PwC was to have long-term, sustainable future. Why is this all important? The answer is significant because it's your generation that's demanding change. And the business leaders today have taken notice, turning people, planet, profit thinking into a growing crescendo of top-line priorities across industry sectors. And now that you are graduates of Bentley University, you are that next generation of organizational leaders who will be called upon to advance this trend at an accelerated pace. A recent article in the Harvard Business Review shows yet another way that leading companies are evolving to better harness the power of your generation. Surveys found today's employees are looking for 3 key motivators that make up a psychological contract with employers: career, community, and cause. Forward-thinking companies will foster all 3 to support an engaged and loyal workforce. A career is the obvious starting point, in the sense that having a job you enjoy, autonomy, and a pathway to greater success are key components for a rewarding work life. While work can be difficult, your reward is the opportunity to develop new skills and assume new leadership roles that utilize your strengths, in addition to getting a paycheck. And while building a community was not always a business priority, in recent years it's been increasingly vital to success. It drives our sense of connection and belongingness. You're inevitably going to spend a large amount of your life in the workplace, so it's important to feel respected, supported, and recognized while you're there. Cause, The third motivator is the feeling that you make a meaningful impact and believing that you're doing some good in the world. This is personally empowering, a major source of pride, one that gives a sense of overarching purpose in the office, in the outside community, and ultimately in the larger world. You leave here today a leg up on the world because of these personal motivators: career, community, and cause. They align well with the people, planet, profit ethic that underlies all of Bentley's graduate school programs. You naturally understand what inspires you and your colleagues, and you also now have the additional knowledge and skills to help drive successful company results through triple bottom line thinking. This twofold mission is your responsibility and it's your opportunity. As your careers advance, never lose your commitment to building a positive work environment for yourself, your colleagues, and employees. Never lose your commitment to people on our planet in the effort to achieve organizational profits. Let these and your personal moral compass be your guideposts, and I believe that you will ultimately find success in all that you do. I know that I speak on behalf of everyone on this stage and for all our trustees, faculty, and staff when I say that we're incredibly inspired by all that you've achieved so far, and we anticipate great things from you in the future. You have what you need to tackle the challenges that lie ahead, and we are incredibly excited to see where you go next. Congratulations. Best wishes for success, good health, and happiness in all that you do. I will miss you all. You are such a tribute to your university, Bentley University. Thank you all.
I call President Larson to preside over the presentation and conferring of an honorary degree.
I call upon Melanie Otero, a member of the Bentley Board of Trustees, to present Ms. Diane Hessen for conferral of an honorary degree. And I ask Diane to join us. Diane Hessen, seasoned entrepreneur, astute risk taker, builder of talent and community, we are so proud to confer upon you today the honorary degree Doctor of Commercial Science. The best leaders, you have said, demonstrate equal parts confidence and humility. Both qualities abound in your work across industries and organizations. As founder, CEO, and now chair of C-Space, you have helped scores of companies discover a built-in engine for growth, their customers, creating online communities to gather insight and inspiration from consumers. Revolutionary in 2000 is now best practice for corporations and nonprofits alike. Your best-selling book of customer-focused business strategies has been translated into 11 languages. Refreshingly authentic, relentlessly curious, you immerse yourself in every venture. A particular passion? Funding and advising early-stage technology companies whose smarts, heart, and vision match your own. You are similarly generous with guidance as a board member for Panera Bread, Eastern Bank, Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, Mass Challenge, Bright Cove, and other organizations, as a speaker at innovation-centered events, and as a model for fellow executives in achieving gender balance in the C-suite. Your ability to listen hard is lately a bridge to civil discourse. Continuing a dialogue begun during the presidential race, you stay in touch with 450 voters across the political spectrum. Your regular reports of their views, impressions, and experiences, published in print and online, help build understanding and uncover common ground. In this and at every turn, your example calls us to approach life with an abundance of purpose and a sense of adventure. Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and by the Bentley University Board of Trustees, we confer upon you, Diane Hessen, the degree Doctor of Commercial Science, honoris causa. We hold it a pleasure and an honor to do so.
I now call Ms. Hessen to deliver the commencement address.
As my older daughter said to me about a half hour ago, my mom is not alive anymore, but she always thought that my brother, who was a doctor, was the star of the family, and Mom, I'm a doctor. This is such a thrill. Thank you so much. To the deans, faculty and staff, parents, alumni, graduates, guests, and to my family. Good afternoon, and thank you, President Gloria Larson, for that wonderful introduction, for the honor of this degree, and for the chance to be here and celebrate all you have done at Bentley, leading this place to new heights with such wisdom and charisma and grace. And of course, congratulations to the class of 2018. Yeah. So, when I was thinking about what to say today, I thought, okay, I've gotten an MBA. I kind of remember being in your shoes. And I thought about the advice that I got when I was graduating, those many years ago. So here's what my mother said to me. Diane, you are charming and smart, but you're never going to get a man if you don't put on more makeup. So I'm going to try to do better than that today. After all, you will leave this ceremony with prestigious degrees and a new way of thinking and a great job market. And you're all set, right? You know exactly what's going to happen for the rest of your life. You've got it all planned. You're super clear about what you want to do, right? Ooh. No, I see a lot of head shaking. Actually, according to my data, most of you are still uncertain. Some of you might know your next step, but not much more about what you really want to do with your life. I will tell you, I can totally relate to this. So I talked to you about my brother. Growing up, my younger brother was absolutely maddening. So on his second birthday, my parents gave him one of these little black plastic doctor kits. And we opened it up for him, and he pulled out a stethoscope, and he put it into his ears, and he was done. My brother, at that moment, decided that he would be a doctor. He ended up being good in science. He went to med school, and he's been a surgeon for 3 decades in the same practice. I don't think he has had one moment when he said, I wonder about the road not taken, I don't really know what I want to do next. He always knew, and I hated him for that. Of course, as I got older, I realized that most people are like me. We are just plain uncertain, and we think we're the only ones. This is really the case in the business world. We learn strategic planning. We do spreadsheets. We practice what we're going to say in interviews when somebody says, where do you want to be 10 years from now? We build our analytical and predictive skills. And yet I am convinced that deep down inside, most of us haven't a clue about where we want to be. But what I've come to believe is that in many ways, we uncertain people are the lucky ones. Because when you are unsure, you're more open. You're more open to serendipity. The notion that at any moment, something might happen in your life that changes everything. So 20 years ago, I left my corporate executive job to try out entrepreneurship. I had this interest in I just wanted to build the kind of company that I always wanted to work in. And I had really become enamored of the most exciting tech company of the day, which your parents will all know, America Online. So those of us who had AOL accounts were experiencing community. We were going into chat rooms, and we were sending instant messages. And so for my new company, Communispace, our plan was that we were going to apply the excitement of all this community stuff to corporations for serious business purposes. So in large corporations, you have very often people who are spread out all over the world, and they need to work together and share ideas. And we were building a software platform that was going to help them collaborate and converse with each other, privately and online. So for instance, one of our first clients was Chase Manhattan Bank, which is now JP Morgan. And they agreed to pilot our software for their 200 human resources people who worked all over the world. So those people actually came physically together every 2 years. I went to go meet all of them on Wall Street, and they were sharing experiences with each other. I was the last speaker, and what I got to tell them was that through Communispace and the magic of the internet, they would no longer have to wait another 24 months to connect again, because they would now be part of the always-on Chase Online HR network. They were so excited, they gave us a standing ovation. So the following week, we launched the Chase HR community with lots of fanfare, and we waited. So of those 200 really excited people, how many do you think came into the community? 7. Week 2, 8. Week 3, 6. We tried everything. We called people on the phone and made them feel guilty. We pushed, we prodded, we made changes to our software, and nothing worked. And even worse, we had a few other customers, and their communities were also dead. We were worried. And although we were experiencing the thrill of being a startup, I had many sleepless nights feeling the disappointment, feeling the failure. And then one day in the summer of 2000, I was at Hallmark in Kansas City, Missouri, and they were about to pilot our software for their network of store managers. So the client, Tom Brailsford, looked at me and he said, "You know, Diane, I love what you're doing, but I'm just really worried these sales managers are not going to come into the community." And I took a deep breath and I said, "You know, Tom, I'm worried about that too." And there was silence. And then he said, "You know, I think I have a better idea." He said, "Think about it, we're a card company, and now with the internet, maybe nobody's going to send physical cards again. Like maybe instead we should invite consumers into the community, and they could help us. I mean, our target consumer is moms. So what about asking them if they'd be kind of an online advisory board for us? They could react to our ideas, tell us about their lives, their dreams, their frustrations." And I sat there and listened to him and said, well, I thought to myself, well, we have nothing to lose. The other idea is not working. So we dumped that store manager idea, and in November of 2000, we launched the Hallmark Idea Exchange for Parents, which was an online community of 197 moms and 3 stay-at-home dads who agreed to be advisors to Hallmark. 24 hours later, of the 200 parents that came into the community, 150 had already come in. The moms could not believe that Hallmark wanted to know what they had to say. The client is calling multiple times a day to say, "Did you see what this one said? Did you see what this one said?" And I can't tell you how excited we were. So I did what all of you have learned. I pulled 6 people off their jobs. I put them onto a task force and said, maybe we should create a new plan. Like, what is this business? Who would buy a customer community? Does anybody else do it? Is there any competition? How much would people pay for it? What does it take to get customers in there? Do we need to change the software? And so on. 3 months later, that team presented to our board and made a recommendation that we pivot, that we enter the market research space, helping companies get insight and inspiration from consumers. It was a game changer. And although we had lots of other obstacles along the way, it was the most critical decision that we made, and it turned into a really successful company. All because of one afternoon. It was serendipity, both that Tom Brailsford had a better idea and that we asked for it and jumped all over about it. Think about it, all that planning and a conversation in Kansas City, Missouri saved our company. You know, ask somebody how they got to where they are, and you will rarely hear stories of intentionality or grand plans or perfect execution. Instead, you very often hear tales of a moment when everything changed. Oh, actually, I was sitting next to somebody on a plane, we struck up a conversation, and the next thing you know, everything changed. Or, well, I went to a party and I was dreading, I was at the bar, I struck up a conversation and that made all the difference. There's a moment of serendipity. So this all became clear to me when I saw the movie Sliding Doors. Has anybody seen Sliding Doors? You have to watch it. Yeah, good. It's hard to find. I think you can get it on Hulu. But the movie opens, there's Gwyneth Paltrow, and she's rushing through the streets of London. You see her flying down the steps of the Underground, and she runs to the subway just as it's pulling away, and she bangs on the door, and the doors slide open, and she goes in, and she gets home on time. And then the movie magically starts all over again. There's Gwyneth Paltrow rushing through the streets of London. She flies down the steps of the Underground. She runs to the subway as it's pulling away. She bangs on the door, and the doors don't open. And the car pulls away, and she's left on the platform. The rest of the movie follows her in two lives. One, because the door opened, and another, because it didn't. And those two lives are dramatically different, just because of one moment. I saw that movie right after that whole pivot that Communispace made, and it reminded me that we just cannot control everything. That in an instant, serendipity could come into my life and change everything, and that it had done so already, and not just with Hallmark. For instance, I went to business school because one night I was sitting in my dorm and I was filling out law school applications and worrying that the legal profession wasn't for me. And a friend dragged me to a panel about getting an MBA, and I was captivated. And just think, I almost didn't go. I met Howard Kogan, who became the chief technology officer for my company, in the line at Panera getting bagels. And he helped take our technology to a whole new level. And I always used to think to myself, just imagine, I almost never talk to anybody when I'm standing in line. Or in 2016, I decided to apply my Communispace learnings to do a project for the Clinton campaign to help them understand undecided voters. And after the election, I was going to move on to another CEO job. So the job that I thought I was going to take didn't materialize. And I had a little time available, so I thought I'd write an op-ed for the Globe about what I was doing and what I had learned. The op-ed went viral. I was on CNN, the Wall Street Journal called, and all of a sudden, there I am at age 63, I, a business person, I'm still doing all that research, and now I'm a Boston Globe columnist. Like, who could have planned that? Just yesterday, I was listening to a podcast. They were interviewing Jay Carney, who was Obama's press secretary. And they asked all about how he got to where he was. And he told a story about when he was in college, he had no idea what he wanted to major in. And he was reading Crime and Punishment, and he fell in love with the book, and he thought, why not major in Russian? He didn't know what else to do. And ultimately, his interest in Russia got him a summer internship at Time magazine, all thanks to Fyodor Dostoevsky. And then he says he went to lunch one day, and he decided to strike up a conversation with the man who was sitting next to him. It was kind of random. It turned out to be somebody named Walter Isaacson, who ultimately became the editor of Time and then chairman of CEO and CNN and president of the Aspen Institute, and he's also known as the writer of the Steve Jobs book, and more recently, a wonderful biography of Leonardo da Vinci. So in one lunch hour, Carney met someone who would completely change the trajectory of his life. There's Howard Schultz, who worked for a coffee brewing equipment company. And there's the story of how he took a break from a housewares convention in 1983 in Milan to sample the local flavors. On his break, he discovered the cafes were packed. And as he sipped his latte, he realized that people were not drinking the coffee because of the brewing equipment or even the quality of the coffee, but because of the communal experience. In his autobiography, he said, "It was an epiphany. It was so immediate that I started shaking." And the rest, Starbucks, is history. There are stories like this all over business. The accidents that caused cornflakes, silly putty, Velcro, super glue, Play-Doh, potato chips, Slinkies, Post-it notes. I could go on and on. So what does that mean for all of you? Well, first, let's distinguish serendipity from luck. Luck is when you're sitting around binge-watching Game of Thrones and somebody tells you you won the lottery. That's luck. With serendipity, it's more active. Sometimes people call it being at the right place at the right time. But what's great is that you can be intentional about this. In your life, you can actually increase the chances that you will be in that right place, to create circumstances where serendipity can happen, to create your own luck. We uncertain people can actually wake up in the morning and say, "Watch out, world, I might have a sliding doors moment today." How do we do this? Well, to start, we need to notice things, to have our radars on. What intrigues you? Is it worth spending a little more time thinking about it? Serendipity's all around us. You take a course that inspires you to change your major. You get a new job after a friend refers you to a company you never heard of before. I spoke with some students from BU last week, and one said to me, "You know, it's so funny. Everybody makes fun of blockchain. Even John Oliver dedicated a show about the fruitlessness of trying to understand it." He said, "But you know, I really liked it, so I went to Boston Blockchain Week with all the other nerds last month, and now he's going to work for a cryptocurrency company." A second strategy is embrace the unexpected. You work on something and it feels like a failure. The outcome's not what you wanted. Is there a signal in there? You take a job you love because the person who will be your manager is somebody who really excited you. 2 months later, the person leaves. It just might be an opportunity. Your software isn't working. Maybe you'll get an idea from somebody like Tom Brailsford. Another way, get your head up from your desk. I was the worst culprit when it came to this. I used to think that the person who worked the hardest won. Then I would be sitting there, all the guys would go out for beers after work, and I'd be sitting at my desk. It was so unfair. I'm working, they're having fun. What I learned is they were working. They were building relationships they could depend on when they needed help. I have learned from my male friends that instead of working 1 more hour, I should go to that networking event that my friend's dragging me to, and to think that there might be someone at that event who could change my life. Get out of your cubicles. See who's walking the hallways. Go to the meetups and conferences. Find the crazy person in the tie-dye t-shirt. As Warren Buffett once said, if your IQ is 150, sell 30 points to someone else, because you only need to be smart enough. Go make new friends. Another way, look to try to connect the dots. I remember after business school, my first job was at General Foods, which is a high-flying consumer packaged goods company in White Plains at the time. They had all these products, and the recruiting person said, "What product do you want to work on?" And I said, "Well, I'm undecided. Give me anything, but honestly, just give me a product that I think I can understand. Like, don't give me decaffeinated coffee, because I don't really get why anybody would drink something that tasted bad if it didn't provide the major benefit of keeping them awake." Of course, what did they do? They put me on Brim decaffeinated coffee, which was the first step for me in what's been my life's work, which is trying to understand people deeply, especially those who are not like me. Maybe there is even someone here today who you have never met who could change everything. I see it all the time. Opportunities for serendipity are all around us. This doesn't mean that planning is bad. It's not either or. It's a mindset that says that both matter. That if you believe only in the triumph of good planning, you miss out. Learn to think about the role of chance in your life. Yes, it is easier to be my brother Howard the doctor, but life is very exciting when you can wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and say, you know, something transformational might happen today. Maybe today I will have my sliding door moment. Be ready for that in your life and embrace it. And so, as you leave this beautiful campus, there are many things you need to do. You need to thank the people who supported you while you were getting your degree. You need to figure out how to give back. And for you women, don't forget what a little mascara can do. But my main message to you is to say yes. Say yes to the party you may not be in the mood for. Sign up for the conference you may or may not be interested in. Step out of your comfort zone and be very aware of what life is throwing your way. If you embrace opportunities and new experiences with open arms, if you resist the temptation to say, I just can't, I promise you that roads will rise up to meet you and doors will slide open that you never thought possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hessen. To announce the 2018 Faculty Awards, I call the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, Dr. Lynn Rosansky.
Thank you. Greetings and congratulations to the class of 2018. Our faculty sitting behind me of teacher scholars is central to the mission of this institution. They guide, instruct, and develop our students. Today, we recognize their dedication and their contributions. Would all the members of the Bentley University faculty please stand so we can express our appreciation? I am pleased to announce this year's recipients of the Excellence in Teaching Award, which was presented at the undergraduate ceremony this morning. The Gregory H. Adamian Award for Excellence in Teaching was presented to Andrew L. Jackson, Professor of Economics. We also are proud to recognize outstanding scholarship by our faculty and to announce this year's recipient of the Bentley University Award for Excellence in Scholarship, also presented at this morning's ceremony. This is Fred David Ledley, Professor of Natural and Applied Sciences. Finally, at this morning's ceremony, we proclaim the value we place upon advising by presenting the Joseph M. Cronin Award for Excellence in Academic Advising and Mentoring to Emmy Roth, Associate Professor of Mathematical Sciences. Bentley is pleased and proud to recognize the accomplishments and contributions of these outstanding members of our faculty.
I call the Dean of Business in the McCallum Graduate School of Business, Chip Wiggins, to present the Professor E. William Dandies Award for Graduate Academic Excellence.
Academic excellence achieved by a graduate student is recognized by an award established in the memory of Professor E. William Dandies, Class of 1947, founding director of the Graduate School, former provost and vice president for academic affairs, and a member of the accountancy faculty at Bentley University for more than 30 years. The Dandies Award is presented annually to the student graduating with the highest grade point average as of January. Today, we recognize 4 students with this award, one of whom, Emily Fellman, cannot be with us today. We begin then by honoring Catherine Cullen. Ms. Cullen, we're pleased to present you with the Professor E. William Dandies Award for Graduate Academic Excellence. The next Dandies Award recipient is Nicolette Desi. Ms. Desi, we're pleased to present you with the Professor E. William Dandies Award for Graduate Academic Excellence. The final Dandies Award recipient is Alex Markowski. Mr. Markowski, we're pleased to likewise present you with the Professor E. William Dandies Award for Graduate Academic Excellence.
I call upon Dr. Lynn Rosansky to present the candidates for graduation and preside over the awarding of degrees.
I'm pleased to say that since this university began awarding doctoral degrees, which is the highest degree one can award at a university, in 2009, we have had 44 students who have earned their degrees at Bentley University. Today, we recognize and honor 4 more. Assisting me in this presentation, Dean Chip Wiggins. I call today's doctoral degree recipients to receive their diplomas from Professor Wiggins and their hoods from their faculty advisors. It might interest you to know that the academic gowns worn today have their roots in the clerical dress of medieval scholars. They were used for warmth in unheated buildings, not too different from today. The hood that forms part of today's academic dress was originally a head covering for inclement weather. Later, it was dropped to the shoulders in the form of a small cape. Eventually, the hood became a separate piece of apparel bearing even more symbolism than the gown. The academic hood is comprised of a fabric shell, usually black, a degree velvet, which indicates the field of study, and the school lining, which is the color of the degree-granting institution. We shall now confer the degrees upon candidates. Roysina Donnelly, Doctor of Philosophy and Business with a focus on international business strategy, will be hooded by Dr. Tatiana Manilova, Professor of Management. Tao Li, Doctor of Philosophy and Business with a focus on business analytics and quantitative methods, will be hooded by Dr. Sam Wolford, Professor of Statistics. Mark David Joseph McLaughlin, Doctor of Philosophy in Business with a focus on information security, will be hooded by Dr. Janice L. Gogan, Professor of Information and Process Management. Jessica Zinger, Doctor of Philosophy in Business with a focus on corporate prediction markets, will be hooded by Dr. Aaron Jackson, Professor of Economics. This concludes the awarding of our doctoral degrees. At this time, we will award the master's degrees. Assisting will be Dr. Chip Wiggins. The names of the candidates will be read by William Starner, Director of the Professional MBA Program, and David Masirian, Assistant Professor, Law, Tax, and Financial Planning. To expedite these proceedings, please hold your applause until the names of all the candidates have been read. For everyone's security and comfort, please keep the aisles clear. There is a professional photographer who will be taking photographs of the graduates.
Masters of Science in Accountancy, Catherine Cullen, high distinction. Nicolette Desi, high distinction. Alec Markowski, high distinction. Kate Albert, high distinction. Michelle Angela. Bradley Barthims. Ji Kai. Charlie Chen. Janting Chen. Jinwei Chen. Mei Shun Chen. Ruhi Chen, distinction. Tin Yang Chen, high distinction. Jiagru Chen, distinction. Shai Chen, distinction. Michelle Chu, high distinction. Nicholas Kotzi. Kyle Kroner. Lauren Dansereau, high distinction. Konyu Ding. Kun Fang. Yu Shang Fang. Zhu Ying Fu, distinction. Stepan Gregorvian. Austin Gibson. Christine Griffin, high distinction. Yumeng Guan. Samantha Guanaro. Mengru Guo. Jiao Guo. Kiri. Yao Ying He. Yi He. Farha Hossein. Jia Hua, distinction. Jingjing Huang, distinction. Shafei Huang, distinction. Heinrich Jankowski, high distinction. Christian Jewers. Humeng Jiang, distinction. Zijun Jiang. John Kendrick. Yi Lan. Rebecca Latzerza. Caitlin LeBrew, high distinction. Danting Li. Liu Ni Li. Ryoji Li. Mengran Li, distinction. Jinliu Li. Tiani Li. Yimie Li. Zedi Li. Ziping Liang, distinction. Xing Miao, distinction. Jingwen Lin, distinction. Yingqi Liu. Yukqian Liu. Siki Liu. Angela Li. Tianshu Liu. Matthew Mayer. Allison Morin. Mario Bazon. Jack McPadden. Zachary Medeiros, distinction. Monica Montero, high distinction. Catherine Murray. Victor Nupubrit. Liam O'Brien, distinction. Ting Ting Pan. Sophia Papachristos. Shuye Pei, distinction. Hugh Peng. Kirsten Perota. Leda Perez. Huan Qian, high distinction. Long Qian. Victoria Rapisaraldi, distinction. Mark Rifkin. Brett Ripperger, distinction. Peter Sedzik. Mohan Shao. Chi Shen, distinction. Jia Song, high distinction. Don San Angelo, high distinction. Shu Yu Sun. Tian Chi Sun. Pu Tan. Jia Di Tang. Salvatore Tunello. Melissa Thayer. Fielan Wang, high distinction. Jing Wang. Lu Jia Wang. Ryu Wang. Yu Jia Wang, distinction. Jia Wen, distinction. Jacqueline Whalen, distinction. Jack Wheeler, high distinction. Brett Wilson. Ying Jin. Jia Xing. Muyang Zhu, distinction. Xing Yang. Zhao Dongyin. Lan Zhang. Jing Zhao, distinction. Zhao Yi Zhao, high distinction. Yi Zhao. Yingming Zhao. Masters of Science in Business Analytics, Tusif Ahmad. Kaylee Collette, distinction. Patrick Jacobs. Ki Jiang, high distinction. Aishwarya Kalipan Pechi Lashmi, high distinction. Kanav Katkia, high distinction. Navlin Surjit Khanuja, high distinction. Benjamin Kochnik, high distinction. Megan Long. Jiaolu Li, high distinction. Jia Li, distinction. Xiaoyan Liu. Jing Fu Long. Samir Gurung. Mimosa Marco. Queen Meng, high distinction. Barath Murugjigasan. Hyun Nguyen, high distinction. Melissa Scarpa. Natalia Semenkachuk, high distinction. Thomas Smith. Curtis Stevens, high distinction. Jian Yuyan, high distinction. Dong Wang. Li Yan Yong, high distinction. Master of Science and Finance, Marcel Albers. Atasha. Michael Bickford. Colton Bridge. Min Shen Chen. Kejin Chen. Yintian Chen. Carlos Diaz Baroma. Yang Dong. Yuling He. Yurong Hu, distinction. Luke Hines. Sijuan Lee, high distinction. Yunlong Lu, distinction. Yingdong Mao, high distinction. John O'Connor. Deborah Paras Lazo. Anfan, distinction. Deepak Pudel. Angad Singh Labharwala. You have a name? Yes, sir. Sam Liu. Akshay Sobhani. Ruchita Kulkarni. San. Wenbusu. Yilyutan, distinction. Isana Pitra Van Dunem. Jia Ying Yuan, high distinction. Now one. Chen Kui Wang. Jingzhang Ye, high distinction. Yu Yu. Yingming Zheng, high distinction. Yu Wei Zhang. Ruji Zhao. Hosha Zhang, high distinction. Master of Science and Financial Planning, Pinlo Chen. Bridget Dunn. Lawrence Kaplan, distinction. Ariel Kogansky, distinction. Robo Lolo. Kevin McClay. Jessica Salame, high distinction. Rachel Sanborn. Steve Taylor. Akiva Thomas, high distinction.
Michael Andriauskas, distinction. Amelia Avery. Melissa Caraway. Kanika Banca, distinction. Andrea Cantu Rodriguez. Corey Kamenetz. Deborah Ercolini, distinction. Aaron Fegley, distinction. Christine Ferguson, distinction. Devika Gupta. Amanda Holmes, high distinction. Stuti Javerdi. Nicholas Manring. Aaron Nathan, high distinction. Pooja Ami Patel. Grace Fong, high distinction. Alessa Perello, distinction. Tejaswini Racharya, distinction. Eric Schnur, high distinction. Justin Cirrus. Lauren Stern, high distinction. Rajiv Subramanian, distinction. Danica Tavarovsky, distinction. Hannah Vaughn, high distinction. Inga Wisniewski. Mengdi Zhang. Master of Science in Information Technology, Matthew Allmeyer, distinction. Congratulations. Danielle Barnett. Thank you. Hengyi Gao, distinction. Natalie Husby. Congratulations. Madhuri Guraj Kati. Congratulations. Gairathi Nagarajan. Congratulations. Vidisha Natkal. Congratulations. Luis Caramel Milani. Jason Perfetto, distinction. Yang Wang. Yungpen Zhang. Thank you. Zihan Zhang. Master of Science in Marketing Analytics, Catherine Aslan, distinction. Hillary Bliley, distinction. Maria Alejandra Cachado Mejia. Thank you. Xiao Zhen, distinction. Naren Chandra, high distinction. Kevin Sear, distinction. Jing Ding, distinction. Yiwen Fei, distinction. Yu Liu, distinction. Jingyu Gu, distinction. Kevin Wang. Jiateng Jiang, high distinction. Yi Lan, distinction. Thank you. Yu Ting Lin, distinction. Chao Chao Lu, distinction. Thank you. Shu Lu Liu, distinction. Evan Mattern. Amanda McCormick. Thank you. Anupriya Rath. Gulsa Samiz, high distinction. Yanming Shi, distinction. Jianfang Song, distinction. Timerlan T. Roth. Yu Tao. Thank you. Shashank Tomar, high distinction. Runpeng Wang, high distinction. Congratulations. Xiao Wang. Congratulations. Yuan Zi, distinction. Mingzhen Zhang, high distinction. Thank you. Zitao Ye, distinction. Thank you. Dongwan Yun, distinction. Thank you. Congratulations. Jizi Zheng. Shuqin Zong, high distinction. Congratulations. Thank you. Mingrui Zhu, distinction. Congratulations. Jin Zhu, distinction. Master of Science in Taxation, Aaron Agrawal, distinction. Christine Batiarian. Megan Baker. Thank you. Congratulations. Manjunatha Banumurthy, distinction. Congratulations. Emily Brunel. John Casasa. Julia Davis. Congratulations. Courtney Dess. Brianni Esperat. Congratulations. Michael Foltalos. Kevin Fitzgerald. Congratulations. James Florio, distinction. Congratulations. Margaret Grussing, high distinction. Congratulations. Robert Hills, high distinction. Shiqui Lee. Congratulations. Hugh Liu, distinction. Congratulations. Dedora Ivanova Thomas, distinction. Congratulations. Emily Jepson. Tyler McConnell. Congratulations. Michelle McVetti. Ama Mensa. Congratulations. Barney Mutumba. Michael Araviano, high distinction.
One of your online.
Samuel Reinhardt. Congratulations. Alex Smith. Congratulations. How are you? Jerry Stevenson. Congratulations. Alexandra Valiotis. Thank you. Thank you. Wen Yang, distinction. Wanchi Yao, distinction.
Hey, Professor. How's it going?
Andrew Zapsaralka, high distinction. Christopher Zarnitz, high distinction. Bentley Master of Business Administration. Bedri Axon, distinction. Congratulations. John Amankwata, distinction. Congratulations. Amadou Baldi, distinction. Congratulations. Owen Chanine, distinction. Thank you. Pauline Chewy, distinction. Congratulations. Mary Beth Crowley, high distinction. Congratulations. Irini DeColi. Congratulations. Mark Estelori. Congratulations. Marie Edwin Jeremy. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Natasa Medojevich. Thank you. Andrew Min, high distinction. Congratulations. Crystal Montoya Zabala, distinction. Congratulations. Richard Pierre, distinction. Josanna May Rodriguez, distinction. Thank you. Congratulations. Elena Rovati, high distinction. Congratulations. Suso Zaldivar Herrera, distinction. Congratulations. Melissa Sanders, distinction. Juliana Sarvosa Verona. Congratulations. Catherine Smith, distinction. Congratulations. Maya Shimkaska, distinction. Gave me a different name there. Juliana Timofeeva. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Monica Tentiano, distinction. Congratulations. Crismaldi Vasquez, distinction. Congratulations. Diliani Yordanova. Congratulations. Master of Science in Information Technology and Emerging Leaders Master of Business Administration, Carmen Cardenas Diaz. Congratulations. Uni Filosof. Congratulations. Aishani Rana, distinction. Congratulations, congratulations. Zlatina Alexandrova, Emerging Leaders Master of Business Administration. Got it messed up a little bit. Divya Rajan Daswani. Megha Datwani, high distinction. Seydou Jerkmakio.
Congratulations, Christina.
Christina Galizio, distinction.
Congratulations.
Joseph Greeley.
Hey, go ahead. Congratulations.
Joseph Haftel, high distinction. Fatima Zora Hakam. Hassan Jafar. Gaurav Jadhav.
Congratulations.
Hannah King, distinction. Yini Liu. Rosan Lutel, distinction. Jacqueline Gagnon. Daniar Nasipov. Avi Panchal.
Congratulations.
Daniel Corello.
Congratulations.
Daniel Simmons, distinction. Yohani Tanjung.
Congratulations.
Peter Titsky.
Congratulations.
Li Zhu, distinction.
Congratulations.
Karen Wong. Chinya Zhu. Professional, Master of Business Administration, Tanya Elaine, distinction. Lauren Alvarez. Anton Bagiev, high distinction. Mark Boudreau. Sandoni Giodini.
Congratulations.
Trevor Cunningham. Elizabeth Curatolo.
Congratulations.
Andrew Curran. Max Donahue, distinction. James Donovan, distinction.
Congratulations. Well done.
Marina Galotto.
Congratulations.
Will Harris, distinction. William Francis Hernandez.
Congratulations.
Michael Higgins, high distinction.
Congratulations.
Joseph Iacovello. And Megan Iacovello.
Congratulations.
Mircea Ibrakovic.
How did they do? Congratulations.
Rahil Kotari, high distinction.
Congratulations.
Michael Lee.
Congratulations.
Annie Lee.
Congratulations.
Kevin Margalis.
Congratulations.
Meredith Mason.
Thank you. Nicely done.
Michael McLaughlin, distinction.
Okay, congratulations.
Oscar Melendez Rivera, distinction.
Congratulations.
Marina Michaelides.
Congratulations.
Nicole Merriman.
Congratulations.
Kevin O'Neill. Congratulations. Mohammed Rahman, distinction. Tharshan Rana, distinction. Congratulations. Stephanie Riley. Congratulations. Well done. Charisma Rodriguez. Congratulations. Susan Scarcella, distinction. Nikisha Spencer. Brad Stowell. Sarah Thomas, high distinction. Shashank Shakar. Mark Torrey, distinction. Congratulations. Nice job. Oleg Svang. Xiyang Yang. This concludes the reading of names of candidates for master's degrees.
Madam President, it is my pleasure to certify that all the aforementioned candidates for graduation have satisfactorily fulfilled the requirements for the degrees indicated as prescribed by the faculty and the trustees of this institution. I am honored to present them to you now for conferral of their degrees.
Will the graduates please rise and remain standing? Your tassel should be on the right side of your cap.
By the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Board of Trustees of Bentley University, and by reason of your having fulfilled all of the requirements prescribed by faculty and trustees, I pronounce you graduates of Bentley University McCallum Graduate School of Business. And there's a little bit more. And holders of the degrees indicated with all the related rights, privileges, and responsibilities.
With that, you are graduates of the Bentley University McCallum Graduate School of Business. As a symbolic gesture of your scholastic and professional achievements in fulfilling the requirements for graduation, take the tassel of your cap and move it from the right to the left side.
Before we conclude these exercises, I ask all graduates of the class of 2018 to join me in expressing appreciation to your spouse or partner, family members, and friends whose support has made today happen. Thank you, families. Thank you.
Will the graduates please be seated?
Are you guys ready? The 43rd annual commencement of the Bentley University McCallum Graduate School of Business is now officially concluded.
We would like to thank the Boston Brass Ensemble for their musical accompaniment today under the direction of Mr. Dave Burdett. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a few brief announcements. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and officers of the university, I invite the graduates and all guests to a reception under the tent on the South Campus quad, where you may meet and congratulate the graduates. In that same area, you will find the Bentley Arch and Flex the Bentley mascot, both of which may add to your photographic enjoyment. Those who need assisted transportation, please contact any staff member. Shuttle buses will be available throughout the afternoon and are located adjacent to the baseball field. Please accept my thanks for your cooperation this afternoon. I ask one last thing. Would the audience please remain seated during the recessional and keep the center aisle clear until the last graduate has exited. Mr. Burdette, the recessional, please.